Hello everyone, you are watching Naresh IAS Academy YouTube channel. Now I am going to analyze the next topic on General Studies question paper 1 for the IAS mains exam. I have discussed the entire GS paper 2 according to syllabus on the YouTube channel through the 20 videos. So you may take help from there, and for detailing you may contact through our website. And this is my second series, General Studies question paper 1, and this is the second last topic according to the syllabus. And today's our topic is centralization and the decentralization of industries in India. What are the responsible factors for the centralization and decentralization for any industry in India? Then we will discuss the multiple factors. For example, one is the jute industry. The jute industry. Second is the cotton textile. Third is sugarcane industry. And fourth is the iron and steel. And through the Indian map, I will locate the present scenario of the different industries. UPSC have mentioned in the syllabus of GS paper 1 the position of primary, secondary or tertiary sectors industries in India as well as world. Definitely we have to listed the industries or sectors of primary and the industries in secondary sector or the tertiary sector. So through some examples I will explain an approach, and it will help you to cover the remaining part or the remaining industries which I am not going to discuss here. One is the jute industry. The centralization and the decentralization of the jute industry. You know, when India was partitioned in India and Pakistan, then the geographical territory of West Bengal was given to the Pakistan, and it was called the Eastern Pakistan, but now it is the Bangladesh. And that time most of the jute production areas were given to the Pakistan, but the most of jute mill or industries were in India, and this is continued till today. So then the jute industry centralized mainly in the Assam, West Bengal, Odisha. This is the belt, and through which we can easily analyze why the centralization is seeming here, due to the traditional factor availability of the raw jute. Even India is not the largest producer of the raw jute, but India has the maximum jute mill, and India mainly depends for the raw jute on the Bangladesh, and Bangladesh have the less jute mill than the India. So conventionally we can trace the roots of the industry during the British period, when the British government emphasized over the sectors and the availability of labor in this area and the transport facility. These are the seaport like the Kolkata, Paradip in Odisha, and availability of the ocean trade routes and the exporting facility to the Southeast Asian countries. And sometime it have seen Government of India through the national jute policy increase the demands of jute, and government made essential use of so many jute products and the some materials for the packaging industries, and it will resulted into the higher demand, and the industry was developed or grown at a large scale. But still today we can say it is centralized in this area, and the remaining part of India either there is no jute industry or sometimes there is a small jute production, and it is very small scales and not have the significant place. So the jute industry still today is determining by its traditional factors. Second is the cotton industry. Why the cotton industry is centralized in some part of India, and on the other hand we are seeing now the industry is decentralizing in the other parts. The one aspect, the centralization, you know, the Gujarat and the southeast Rajasthan and Maharashtra, this is the geographical region of the black soil, and the black soil is fertile and useful for the cotton cultivation, and sometimes it is called the cotton soil too, and this is the conventional or the traditional factors why the cotton is mostly produced in this region. But through the technological aspect, Government of India have made its policy for the development of other part of country, so that we can ensure the regional balances, and the weaving part of the cotton is not centralized in this area. It is mostly in the Uttar Pradesh, Jammu Kashmir, Punjab, Haryana, Tamil Nadu and the different parts of the country. So there are the two aspects, the cotton production and the spinning sector is centralized in this area, while the weaving part of the cotton definitely it is outside the region. And sometimes it has seen the jute industry and the cotton textile industries facing new challenges, threats and problems. So you have to identify the internal problems, external problems and the responsible factors to overcome these industries. How can we make these industries more profitable, more competitive at the global level? So the hindrance and the emerging factors for these industries we have to identify, because these are the leading sectors for India's GDP and providing the employment to a large portion of the population. The cotton textile industry is the second largest employment providing sector other than the agriculture sector. So government is now focusing over the sector. Third is the sugarcane industry. You know, conventionally sugarcane industry was centralized in the Gangetic plains, mainly in Uttarakhand, Uttar Pradesh, Jharkhand, Bihar and some part of the West Bengal and Assam region. But recently, since the last 2 or 3 decades, it has seen the sugarcane industry shifting from north to the south India, and now it is centralizing in the some part of Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh and the interior Karnataka. So then what are the factors which pushing the industry in the south? So there are some geographical factors and the technical. Geographical factors, mainly the climatic factors. The climate of south is not too warm rather than the North India. The hot climate or the warm climate mainly decrease the sugar content in the sugarcane, and if the content of sugar or sucrose is not sufficient, definitely it lose its market price. You cannot demand the appropriate price for their sugarcane. But in South Indian climate is very helpful, not only to increasing but maintaining a high concentration of the glucose or the sucrose content in the sugarcane than the North India. Second, the crushing period. Due to the warm climate in North India, the crushing period is about 3 to 4 months, and this is too difficult to the farmers. But in South India, the crushing period is larger and sometime for the 9 months. So farmers, according to their comfort, can contact the sugar mills or factories for crushing their sugar canes. And the third is, per hectare productivity is more in the South India than the North India. So these are the climatic or geographical factors are more favorable to the south than the north. That's why it is shifting from north to the South India. And some other technical factors, technical aspect, the government of the South India now providing the transport facility, and there is the availability of seaport in south, but there is no seaport in the north, and the export facility is much in the south. So the industry is now shifting. And last is the iron and steel. You know, iron and steel industry is the backbone of Indian economy, and it has its roots during the British period. British government started these industries from the West Bengal. The one factor is the steel industry required the raw iron and coke, coal, flux and the labor, and this is abundant in the West Bengal, Jharkhand, Bihar, some part of Chhattisgarh and Odisha. So this is the wealth for the iron and steel industry. Conventionally, the availability of raw iron in too much amount and the other conventional factors which were grown or developed by the British government, these are still continue. But recently we can see the industry have spread beyond this region. Now in Andhra Pradesh, like the Visakhapatnam steel plant, Salem steel plant in Tamil Nadu, Hospet in Karnataka, Chandrapur in Maharashtra and in some part of the Rajasthan. Definitely it is indicating through the good transport, railway connectivity or rail network or the road network, now we are supplying the raw material to the remote areas, and at the local level the cheap labor is easy available, and government's assistant facility, government's stimulating facilities helps to grow these industry in the other sector. That's why we can say conventionally the iron and steel sector is centralized in some areas, but in other areas it is spreading, it is indicating its decentralization due to the various factors, good transport, communication, government's stimulus policies, financial availability, seaport availability and the market access. And what kind of challenges now facing the iron and steel sectors? Interior problems, the availability of raw materials timely is lacking, and the labor problems and the dispute with the trade unions and the supply of power and the other external factor like the emerging markets in the world. Now India have to compete with the other industries rising in the different countries like the Japan, Singapore, Britain, France and Russia. And now we have to ensure our quality and the good competitiveness. So, internal and external factors definitely are standing before the all these industrial sectors. However, governments is regularly trying to diagnose these factors and steps are taken to remove them very soon. So, it is my advice to you must listed the most of industries from primary, secondary or the tertiary sector, or then first you should identify the centralization conventionally, the centralization of these industries, and now their dispersion and the decentralization, and then find out the various causes behind this. In this way you can complete this topic entirely. Definitely it will help you to cover the topic.